Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I've got the Ford Puma Gen E to test out. I have one of these as well, and so I've got good experience with it. So front end, we've got the claw headlights. These are the anti-glare matrix LED lights. Now they're a £600 option. They used to be standard, but these are brilliant. These are a must-have option in my opinion. At the front you've got the blanked out grille with the black strip. I think the best colour is either blue. I think it's blue. Blue's the best colour, and then silver. This is the 360 camera and the radar sensors. This car has the driving assistance pack, which means you get the front sensors, 360 camera, adaptive cruise control, blind spot assist. These are the 18-inch multi-spoke alloys. These are the same as the petrol version as well as the electric one for the mid-spec variants. This is the premium, which is the top-end variant of the electric version. Jumping in, we've got the light control switches there. I jump straight in. We've got the steering wheel. These are the buttons that are useful for the adaptive cruise control and the volume knobs. This is a good car as it has all these physical controls compared to the haptic feedbacks and all of that stuff in newer cars. This is the gear stick here, and then this is the wiper stalk and indicator stalk as well. So the driving's going to follow next. This car is a test drive vehicle. It's covered 900 miles and it's done 2.8 miles per kilo. As this is a test drive vehicle, that is not too bad. I've averaged 3.6 to 3.8. 3.8 is my average across my 3,000 miles. So that's pretty good. It means the running costs are about 4 pence per mile if you charge at home on a semi-cheap electricity rate. This is the tyre pressure gauge. It's very high at the minute. My one sits around 34 psi. You have just like basic information like that, and then you have, if you change the mode, you get different views as well, but I'll leave it like that for now. So that there's one variant like that, and then this is the other style as well. However, I think this is a little bit weird, so I leave it like this. It looks a bit nicer. And then onto the main screen, we've got the climate control down there. That's in a fixed position. If you have the winter pack, there's some heated seats and steering wheel buttons there. So the trip energy, I've just started now, so that's off. The drive modes, you've got normal, eco, sport and slippery, and you've got the propulsion sound and the one pedal drive modes as well. I tend to keep that off and I keep it in L mode, which you can find by just pressing this little button here when you're in drive mode. So as you change the modes, it changes the display as well. And as well as that, you have the driver assistance as well. You've got cruise controllers, adaptive, normal or late, and so I would keep it in normal most of the time, to be honest. You've got all of these new safety features, the rear camera delay, let's keep that on. You've got reverse brake assist, you've got cross traffic alert view, and all of these features that all these new cars have nowadays. The max charging speed AC is 11 kilowatts, and that would charge the cars from 0 to 100 in just under 4 hours. And most home plugs 7 hours, so it takes around 6 hours to charge from 0 to 100%. The main thing that this car has that mine doesn't is this 360 camera view. It's honestly brilliant, but I wouldn't say it's a brilliant system, but it's not really necessary in this size of vehicle. The front sensors though, they're very useful. So you've got many different modes. That's 360, this is the front on view. That's another angle of the front view. And that's the back camera, which is normally standard. But yeah, this is the mode I would keep it on. That's the highlight of this vehicle. We also have the blind spot camera as well. If I get out and show you guys. With the switches there. That's the blind spot camera view. And then you've got the Puma logos here as well. If I get into the back seat of the car, this is in like, I can move my seat a bit more forward, so legroom wise it would be alright. However, I'm sitting very like high off the floor, and I'm like in a squat position, as you can see here. So I probably couldn't sit here for say long journeys. However, little town journeys, that would be fine for me. I've got a comparison video of this Puma as well as the petrol one coming out as well, so that will give you like a proper comparison between the both. That's the back. Made the back messy now. Sorry to the guys at Perry's Ford Aylesbury who've kindly lent me this car to use. I'm going to put all the details on the screen now, so when you're interested in the Puma or any Ford for that matter, you can contact them. They're very helpful. The back end of the car, pretty similar to all the other Pumas on the road. The only difference is there's the white Puma lettering as opposed to the black or silver on the petrol versions. Cool feature here is that you have the auto open rear boot, charging cable of course in the back, and then you've got the Giga box as well, so the boot becomes massive, and then you can just always go to that and it will close automatically. And then the car also has a front trunk, so let me open that for you now as well. Sounds amazing. So there's a little yellow latch here that you can see, and then you have to put this up as well. It's very small. You can fit your charging cables in here though, so that's always an advantage. You can fit the charging cables here, close this, and then they're out of sight. However, if you do that, charging cables tend to make a lot of noise at the front when you're going over speed bumps, so probably avoid. And you've got the little Easter egg of Puma there. And yeah, that is the car. The driving is to follow now. Hopefully this part has been useful, and hopefully the driving is useful as well. Make sure you subscribe and like the video so you can reach more people, and hopefully you can get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to be trying to post more videos like this soon. So thank you for watching, guys. So let's now drive the car. I'm going to start off on a bit of dual carriageway, and then we're going to end off in city driving as well. I've just been on the motorway with this car right now to do a little bit of a range test. So I've done 78 miles. This is 7 miles in the city, 10 miles in the city approximately. So 65 miles out of 75 have been on the motorway at 70 speeds. And the weather is quite horrendous today as well, as you can see outside. At speeds of average of 65 miles an hour on the motorway. My miles per kilowatt I've received is 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour, and that is in sport mode most of the way, as I think me and some of the other owners that have the Puma Gen E's have realised that it's much more efficient in sport mode on the motorway. What you can hear now is the propulsion sound. Yeah, I only have 43% battery now, so it does feel it feels quite slow now. So yeah, this is like one of the worst dual carriageways in my area, and still the car is performing quite well, quite efficient, and it has a small battery as well, so it's very cheap to run. On my car, across my 3,000 miles, I've averaged 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour, and if you have a cheap electricity rate at home of 10 pence per mile, of 10 pence per kilowatt hour, I mean, that is about 2.5, 3 pence per mile. So very, very cheap motoring. And this car does feel premium to drive as well. It's got the massive displays. You've got Apple CarPlay, which is wireless, and Android Auto, that's wireless. And that's on the maps right now for me as well. So overall, this car would serve its purpose. I think if you're predominantly driving on a motorway, it's not the best EV for you. However, if you have the occasional motorway journey, such as today, which I've done by the time I finish, it will be 100 miles round trip motorway journey. I think you can do it as well. On 93%, it showed me about 165 miles of range in this 8-degree weather, which, to be honest, it's not too bad for an electric car at this time of year. This car is the test drive vehicle, and it's averaged 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour in the last month that it's been registered. It's covered 800 miles, and it has been quite cold, so even for a test drive car that gets hammered, it's pretty decent as well. One thing I would say I'm not too impressed about with this car is the adaptive cruise control. It's not the best, to be honest. I feel that when you're near a vehicle, it brakes too quickly, and then when you're like steering as well, it just doesn't feel as confidence inspiring as other cars that I've driven that have adaptive cruise control. Even around the corners, it's wet, it's miserable today. It handles very nicely at 70 miles an hour, the speed limit. The arrest warning is extremely annoying. Slowly past the biker. Okay, so in town, this car is made for town, isn't it, to be honest? However, when it's cold, the range is not very good at all. It gets around the same as the Motorway miles per kilowatt hour, around 3.6 around town. However, normally, if the weather's above 10, you get about 5.1 plus in the town. So that is extremely cheap motoring. And again, the suspension, everything's fine. It's a nice car. It feels more expensive than it actually is. It's around £30,000 with a government grant. It was the first car to get it, and I'm happy that I have my own Puma Gen E. It's not a Chinese manufacturer, and it's a manufacturer that's been around for a long time. And the deal that there was available was too hard to not snatch up. So happy with the car so far. The preconditioning not working is a little bit annoying. However, that should be getting fixed soon in the next couple of weeks. So. But yeah, around town it's also very comfortable, silent, and yeah, it's nothing. You don't need anything else. This is pretty perfect, to be honest. So yeah, I hope this has been a useful video. I am still starting out, so if there's any ways I can improve, just leave that in the comments, and also make sure to subscribe and like. And I'm also going to try and get some more cars to drive and test soon.